I'm still shaken by what I saw. Back when I was working at Warner Brothers Studios from 1993 to 1998, I thought I'd seen everything. I used to love Animaniacs. I even helped produce it. But by the end, I was glad it got canceled. And no, it's not for the reasons you think. Let me explain. My name is Daniel Kutcher. I now work at DreamWorks, but before that, I was one of the producers at Warner. You all know Animaniacs, right? Fun, chaotic, zany to the max. But there was a final episode, one we never aired, one we never should have seen. We got it in a plain package, no return address, just a VHS tape labeled Animaniacs WT. We didn't know what WT stood for. Wacko's Treat? Warner Tape? There was something off. The label was written in thick black permanent marker, the kind you'd use to tape over home videos. We popped it into the VCR in the animation room. Standard black screen, then familiar territory. The usual Animaniacs intro. It was the same until it wasn't. After the theme song faded, the screen went dark. Then a title card appeared. Wacko's Torture. Blood red letters, gray background. And that music, like something out of a Friday the 13th knockoff. We were frozen. The episode opened normally. The Warner siblings were messing with Dr. Scratch and Sniff, chasing Hello Nurse, doing their usual slapstick. Then came Ralph, the security guard. He was on the phone, muttering something we couldn't quite make out. The scene suddenly cut, hard, to Wacko, alone in the studio lot, humming to himself about Hello Nurse. He passed a dark alleyway on set, and a hand shot out, gloved, covering his mouth. He struggled, kicked, then silence. He was dragged into the dark. The screen faded out. What followed still gives me nightmares. Wacko was chained to a brick wall, his head lolled forward. He was unconscious. Then he stirred, looked around, and tugged weakly at the chains. There were red stains on the metal. Then the clowns came. Not cartoon clowns, not Animaniacs clowns. These were strange, shadowy, exaggerated figures with twisted, painted smiles, like Pennywise drawn by a schizophrenic animator. There were 5 of them. One held a video camera, another held a hammer. Wacko whimpered. One clown leaned in and said in a slow, gravelly voice,
"Ralph sent us."
Wacko screamed,
"Clown!"
and thrashed in terror, just like in the episode where he revealed his fear. But this wasn't for laughs. The scene cut rapidly, Wacko screaming, clowns grabbing his limbs, shadows falling across his face. We never saw blood, not directly, but we heard things. Cracks, gasps, a scream so raw it didn't sound animated at all. One shot showed Wacko writing "Help me" on the wall with his toe. Another cut showed him unconscious again, gagged now, blood on the gag. The title card flashed, 3 days later. Then it showed Wacko again, pale, broken. His eyes were wide open, darting, lips trembling. It looked like he'd given up. But when the door opened, he flinched hard and shut his eyes. "Wacko." The voice was familiar. He opened his eyes. Yako stood in the doorway, covered in blood, breathing hard. Flashback. Yako had been searching, confronted Ralph after overhearing him brag about the clown videos. There was a short, brutal scene, Yako slamming Ralph into a wall, demanding answers. Ralph confessed. Then Yako snapped. What followed looked like something from a horror movie. Yako hunted the clowns, one by one. He didn't speak, just stabbed, slashed, cornered them in shadow, and disappeared into darkness with them. By the time Yako reached his brother, the clowns were gone permanently. Yako picked up Wacko and carried him through the ruins of the set.
I'm going to protect you and Dot.
He whispered. The screen showed the two brothers stepping outside into the light. Dot was waiting for them. Then, the camera panned back into the darkness of the studio. The last frame, the 5 clown masks lying on the floor, and the match Yako dropped. The building lit up in flames as the screen faded to black. Roll credits, no music, just static. We didn't speak for a while. None of us moved. We didn't know what we had just watched. It wasn't labeled. It wasn't part of any season. It wasn't animated like anything we'd commissioned. We reported it to higher-ups. The tape was locked in the vault, and the public was told the show was canceled for creative refocusing. The usual PR excuse. But those of us who saw it, we knew. To this day, I don't know who made that tape, or why, but I still see Wacko's face sometimes in my dreams. Eyes wide, lips trembling, being tortured in that room.